Hi everyone, it's Jenny here. This is just a short video to give you a few pointers for Learning Portfolio A. This is the first written piece of assessment for prep skills. It's due at the end of week 4 and it's worth 30%. So the good news is there's nothing particularly hard about this assignment. If you are completing all the readings and the activities for modules 1, 2 and 3, you won't have a worry in the world. So let's have a look at the information and the resources that are available to you, because as a student that's the first thing you should be working out is, okay, here is the assignment, but what tips am I given, what guidance, what resources do I have to help me with that particular assignment? So the first thing I would always do is go to the course profile. I know I keep banging on about this, but that's because it is really important. So I would go to the section which is about Learning Portfolio A and read all this detail very, very carefully. We will be teaching you about different ways of reading documents, and skim reading is really helpful when you're doing research, but this is not one of those times. When you're reading assessment documents, you read them really closely. So I'll be asking you to go back to this document and look at it in your own time, but I just want to point out a couple of things in this video. So one is that you are able to use first person, so you can say I, me, myself. It'd be pretty hard to write a self-reflection without using those words. So just in case you were wondering, you certainly can write in first person. Full sentences, please. The exception to that would be when you're giving us your goals, and bullet points will be fine for those. Formal referencing is not required. You're learning how to use Harvard referencing in your academic writing subjects. So for this subject, we're not expecting that. There's no reference list that you have to provide at the end. However, that doesn't mean that you can just cut and paste and copy willy-nilly from websites or from Cottrell or your study guide. Try to put things into your own words. If you do see a really good quote and you think, gosh, I really would like to use that, you can, but please put it in inverted commas and indicate in some way where you actually got that from. Now, the word length is 1,000 to 1,300. That's a bit broader than usual. That's simply because we know some people will want to write a lot and some people not so much. So we generally also say 10% more or less is fine. So a little more than the 1,300. I wouldn't write too much less than 1,000 though, or your work simply won't have the depth. Now please know PDF files for this. Please save your work as a Word document so that we can give you the feedback and you can access that feedback. So there's further detail there about when it is due and how much it's worth. I've already talked about. Let's move on to the assignment detail, and I'll show you where to find this if you haven't already done so. So some of this information is the same. Oh, an important point here with the word count is the wording of the questions is not counted in that. Obviously, these are your words that we're counting. There are further details there, some of which I've talked about already. Okay, so here are the questions. And these are what you will be responding to in your assignment. There's also a word length guide here at the side for each of the modules. That is just a guide so that you can pace yourself. Sometimes people write way too much for the first couple and then they have hardly any words left for the last part of it. So it's just to sort of help you pace yourself. But basically it's the overall total that really counts. Now, another important aspect of the assignment details that I want to point out to you is the assessment criteria. Now, please always look at this closely. This is what the markers will have in front of them when they are marking your work. So what are they looking for? All right, well, they're looking to see that you are answering the questions, but in particular, they're looking for depth of thinking. They're looking to see that you are mentioning or referring to specific concepts learnt in the relevant study guides modules. So in this case, modules 1, 2 and 3. So please explain what you mean, give examples of what you're talking about. So for example, if you are describing your learning style and you agree with certain aspects of the Solomon Felder inventory, that's fine, but please say why you agree. Give reasons for your answer. Try and illustrate what you're talking about by talking about things from your life. And that really then is providing the evidence that we're looking for as well. So the other important part of this is the communication skills. So we are looking to see that you've expressed yourself clearly. Please watch your grammar and your spelling because we do take that into account when we're giving you an overall grade. All right, so where do we find these things on Moodle? Let's take a look. Now the course profile is available from the information block, but what we're really interested in today is the assessment block down here. So when you go to Learning Portfolio A here, you'll see that there's some further detail, and you'll also realise that this is where you go to upload your assignment when it's finished. So don't forget that as well. This is where you come back to. So the video link is here. The assignment details I just showed you are here, and the template can be accessed here. Let's have a look at the template. So obviously you're going to be putting in your name and your student number at the top, and then all you do is you click under the questions and you type away. So it makes it really easy for you. It means you can't lose track of the questions, you can't make a mistake in typing them out. We do understand that not everybody has great computing skills at this point, so we just try and make it as easy as possible for you. So all you do then is type in your answers under each of those questions. Once you've completed all of Module 1, that's when you would try to complete these summary or overview questions, and so it is for Module 2 and Module 3. Now you've already been asked some questions to do with Module 1, but there were certain concepts and issues that we didn't touch on in the quiz, and you will be looking at those in your learning portfolio. So please, when you save the file, name it something that you can find in a way that you can find it again. Don't lose track of the files, and when you are uploading this to Moodle, for goodness sake, make sure that you have the right version of the file. And don't forget that there is a final tab that says Submit for Marking. Make sure that you do hit on that as well, because sometimes people upload their work and they think they're done, but they haven't hit that final Submit for Marking. There is further information or guidance to help you upload your assignment. There's information that you can access there, and also in your Getting Started guide, there's some really good instructions step by step that talk you through the process, so nothing difficult about that. That's pretty much it. The other thing I wanted to just draw your attention to is that in Module 3 there's a whole section dedicated to how you can address these questions in your learning portfolio, how to go about reflective writing. It's not the same as pouring out your heart in a personal diary. And you do have to make sure that you write in a clear and concise way. So there are some tips there on what is considered appropriate writing styles for university, and there's even some tips there for those of you who will write way more than the word limit. And sometimes that's our better students, because they really have engaged with the material and they do really want to tell us what they've learned and what they've learned about themselves as well. Pardon me. So there are some tips there for those of you who do have a tendency to write too much, and I hope you find that useful. So look, basically that's it. I really hope that you find this a worthwhile and enjoyable assignment. We do get good feedback about this because students, I think, find it valuable to think about these aspects of themselves as learners, and certainly there's lots of practical tips that you will be putting in place as you answer these questions, and hopefully it's really going to set you up very well for success as a student, not just as a STEP student, but in your undergrad as well. So all the very best for Learning Portfolio A.